Hey everyone, welcome to the Trendcrusher podcast. I'm Peter K. On this episode, I've got the Earth Below. If this episode sounds different compared to the usual ones, well, we were in person doing this recording, so yeah, the entire atmosphere was different. We also had drummer Shreyansh's dog around, so yeah, at some point you would probably hear a bit of him also. The band have their live album Live at Harkat out this Friday, so do check it out. We talk about that and much more. Here's my chat. Wow, I can't believe we're finally making this happen, but
Hell yeah.
thanks so much guys for first of all showing up, taking time out, and yeah, this is, I think, let's start with you, Deepak. This has been a long time coming, right?
Yeah. Been avoiding it.
I mean, you said it, I didn't. But yeah, first of all, I mean, like, I must, before we get to the other guys, right, I must put this up front. I mean, I've been following The Earth Below since it was a project in that you were doing solo. And I didn't realize it had been all the way from 2010.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Which I don't know how it makes you feel, but it makes me feel at some points old, but also at sometimes like, wow, it's been that long.
Yeah, but I think by then, 2010, that was just the first EP, and then by then I had moved to Bangalore.
Yeah.
I started playing with all the bands, Beaversea. So, kind of the real start was like 2017 when I started like really like seriously doing it, kind of.
Okay.
Until then, it was just a one-off thing, and I was just playing drums after that for like 7 years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so wait, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We are joined by the rest of the band.
Yes.
So for those now who know it's Deepak, why don't you go in order of the way you're sitting and introduce yourselves?
I'm Ashish and I play guitars in Earth Below.
Okay, and go ahead.
I'm Shreyansh. I play the drums. And
Okay, awesome. So yeah, we're joined by the entire band, and yeah, I thought it would be interesting just to kind of go through not just what you all are up to and what you all are going to do, but let's just dive into a bit of the history of the band, if you can indulge me, right? So let's start with you, Deepak. I mean, like, let's go back to like 2017 when you said you kind of wanted to start the project again. Why again restart, so to say, the Earth Below, and what was the whole purpose at that point?
I think at that point I was kind of frustrated. Like I wanted to write songs, but I don't think the kind of songs I was working on or writing was kind of fitting with all the bands that I was playing at the time. And and it kind of coincided with like I've had this like neck and shoulder injury that I've had it since then. It's been getting better, but it was one of those things with like chronic pain kind of scene. Like I had it for a few years. So I was also like this, like practicing drumming blast beats every day is not really working. So it was another like creative kind of outlet besides the drumming that I was doing at the time. And then slowly it became kind of this is all I'm doing now, that kind of thing.
And at which point did you realize that, okay, from, hey, this is all I'm doing? I know you put out an album in 2020, but then at which point did you realize that, hey, I want, because to put it to some context, right, especially since it's a solo project, there is that thing that, hey, this is my creative expression, my project. Getting other musicians involved, getting them part, and now the transition I look at it really is from a project to a band. When did you think that was the right time, and when did you get Ashish and Shreyansh as part? And I want to hear from them also.
Yeah, that was, well, the Ashish and Shreyansh came a little later, like 2022, I think. And basically my plan for that album, Nothing Works, was like I wanted to put a band together and tour and play shows and stuff.
Wow, okay.
But the album dropped and everything, pandemic, quarantine thing happened. So nothing happened for like a year and a half or something. Then we spoke, like Ashish and I spoke, and we started jamming a little bit, just the two of us at home, at my place. and then it kind of developed from that. And then we got a show thing. Like somebody said, hey, do you want to play a show? Like Spectral DK, those guys basically said, do you guys want to play? It was through Dirge, no? I think
No, I think yeah, but people were asking.
Yeah, yeah. I think Dirge was playing, and then I think Ashish must have said, "Hey, do you want to put Earth Below also?"
So like in 23 with Dirge we put out a self-titled album and we were playing like a few shows. So that time and Deepak and me had just started jamming, and even I think Shreyansh was just like starting to jam with us. So we thought let's just give it a try, like let's get this set sorted and just play Earth Below along with Dirge for these shows. And yeah, that happened, and I think that was the first time we played live together.
But what was the? I mean, like, let's go and take a few steps before that, right? I mean, like, till then it was material that you had written, and you had Ashish join in, and you all were jamming. Was there like plans to then put out new music as part of it?
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't thought of that at that time, but once we started jamming, the three of us started jamming, then it became clear that we have to write new music, because like we had a really good chemistry when we started jamming. So it's like a no-brainer, we have to start writing new material.
Okay, now I want to get Ashish and Shreyansh's perspective, right? Where did I mean, how did you first hear of Earth Below, and what was your thing to kind of be part of the band?
I mean, how did I hear Earth Below? I think it was through Deepak itself, because I've seen him live. I think, 2012, 2011 is when I got into like the heavier side of music, more like bands like Candlemas and Acid Bath and stuff like that. And then I was just checking out if there are any Indian bands who played anything like this. And then the first band that came to my mind, or like which I found out, was Bewasi. And I used to live in Pune that time, and they were playing this one gig in Bombay. I think it was Wakin Metal Battle, and they were coming around from Bangalore. So I was I think around like first year, second year in college. So me, Varun Patil from Dirge, like Sid from Pacifist, like we all took a train, came for that gig, and at night itself, left back to Pune because we really wanted to see Bewasi. And honestly, that was mind blowing, bro. Like for me, I hadn't seen a band like that. I had seen a lot of local gigs in Pune, but those were mostly like the music that I'm not much into. So this was something that I was really listening to at that point of time, and then I saw something live. And I feel like with bands who play this kind of music, like the slower, heavier, like more introspective, emotional, heavy music, I think when you listen to such bands live, that's when it's like really you feel that music even more. So for me, that was like very inspiring. And then obviously I got to know the members. I was like, yeah, actually, like the different members who play in the band. And then I found out that Deepak has another project called Earth Below. So I checked it out, and I loved it. It was very different, obviously, from Bewasi or anything else, but yeah, I really liked it. And then he kept on putting out like a lot of music, and I followed it. And yeah.
What about you, Shreyaj?
I think we connected on Instagram, and they wanted a drummer basically. And then I checked out the band, and I really liked the songs, and I was like, how did I never find this before?
Your fault, Deepak.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, then I was like, I really like the songs, and that's pretty much it. And then we just jammed, and then it's like, yeah, we should play more and we should write, and no, that's it.
Okay, so I think at this point, I want to stick on the three of you, right? So you'll have put on quite a bit of music since you all got together, right? What was the first track that, when you all played together in the jam room, and any of you can take it, right? Where you all really felt that, like, fuck. Because there's a separate kind of, I don't know how to call it, right? It's an intuition, a gut feeling, call it what you may, where you know that, like, this is going somewhere. Could you kind of explain which track that was, or maybe a series of tracks, and then we could play one of them?
I mean, you all can answer individually. Yeah. But I think we put out one song so far, like as a release. That's Holy Fire. But apart from that, I think Deepak wrote a lot of like demos for a lot of songs. So there are, I think, around 10, 15 songs in that folder. And we're kind of figuring out like how to put those songs out, because recording and like just everything is pretty expensive also, like just to figure out as financially like how to do it, you know, like properly recording and all of that. But yeah, I think we are working song by song now and just like building it up. So I think Deepak usually writes the initial demo of the song, and then we both add our ideas to it and then build the song together. So I think there are quite a few songs right now, but like demos, but then slowly we are planning to put it out.
But so okay, so then whoever wants to take this, why was Holy Fire the first track that you all put out together, and what's special about that?
That's yeah, I don't know honestly, because we did jam on. We had like maybe three or four new songs we were jamming on, and Holy Fire I felt like was a real statement. Like this is a different sound, so I thought maybe that's a good way to go, because we did have a lot of ballad kind of songs which are kind of like transition, kind of similar vibe to the previous stuff. But Holy Fire, yeah, I'm not sure what we were thinking. Like,
I think it's just it's a banger, bro. Like,
yeah,
and
it
we
just
wanted
has
to
that.
like have like a strong impact as the first thing that we put out, maybe like three
Yeah,
of us together. So, and also it was the first time Earth Below, like as a band or like a project, like worked with Apoorv also as a producer. So that also helped quite a lot with like the overall sound
Awesome.
of the
So
whole song.
for those who haven't heard it as yet, here's Holy Fire. and that was Holy Fire, and I'm sitting with the guys from The Earth Below. Now, since you mentioned Apurva, I want to bring him in the conversation because I think whichever Bombay band it is, right? Apurva has some kind of what you may call it. I don't know. He has some hand he's playing in there. Yeah, and there's also that thing where typically I've noticed this, and correct me if I'm wrong, because all of us are avid music listeners, right? Like when you look at any producer or any someone who's worked on production, right? It's people go to them for that sound. But one thing I've noticed with Apurva is that he doesn't have a sound. It's more like, hey, what's this band? What do I add in? I mean, like a simple example I'll give you is I never thought like Apurva would be someone who'd work on something like the Riot Peddlers, because that's like a very like metallic hardcore. I know the kind of sound that they kind of were looking for and stuff like that. And then when he worked with them, I was like, wow, suddenly they sound even more in there. Was that something that was conscious where you all did?
Yeah, I feel like Apur, like there are multiple points to this. I feel one is like he has a very diverse taste in music, like all of us. But apart from that, he's like technically very like sorted. Like he knows his stuff, what he's doing, and I don't know. Like there's something about his way of working that makes the band sound very organic and gets the best out of the band. Like he's a very patient guy. Like when you're working with him, it's like very chill, and he makes sure you give the best, like when you're playing or like when you're recording, and he tries to understand the sound of the band or what we are
Do you want
going
to add
for.
something, Deepak?
So,
I mean, you've had quite a bit of experience working with different.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. He's got like really good ears, and he's like hyper focused, man. When we are working on something, he's like on it. Like he's not spacing out, and he doesn't wait around for us to like try to come up with a good sound or anything, because he's also on it. He's gonna figure it out, and usually what he comes up with is perfect. So I think it's ears, because he knows how a particular genre of music or a particular style is supposed to sound like, and a lot of it I think comes down to the drums, man. Like if the drums sound good, you're 80% you're sorted. Like that's hard. I feel like a lot of bands before I met Apur, and like getting that good drum sound was a huge thing. We used to like
I mean, you would know.
yeah, it's really hard to find. I don't know, for some reason, like maybe there's not enough experience here, like recording and producing heavy music. And I think Apur had that exposure, and he knew how to go about it, so.
yeah, even for guitars, man. Like I feel he gets like how to record guitars properly, like through amps and like trying out different amps and seeing what exactly works for this song. And this process like takes hours. Like with Dirge and with Earth Below, both when we record, it like literally he spends like 3-4 hours. We are all at it, and like really like intricate work, like the mic positioning, and it's like pretty intense. But he gets it. And I haven't seen many people get
Okay,
it.
so let's kind of switch focuses a bit, right, and come to like present times, so to say. Is you'll have a new live album coming out, and I say new, but when we were discussing prior to recording, I totally kind of forgot that this was the show I attended all the way back in July last year, 2024. So first, let's break it down. I mean, like, why first of all do especially an acoustic show? That's one of the first questions I always was having to ask you all. And especially what I found interesting was the set list for the show, right? Because this was the first time you kind of covered the entire discography, so to say, of The Earth Below. So
Yeah.
let's start with both the first question, whichever one you want to start with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The whole thing was like, Ashish had spoken about like doing some of the songs, I think, or like I don't know how this idea came, like to do Harkat. Do you know how? I think it was just like, let's try to do this. Like, let's try to cover a lot of those old songs which we have never
Yeah.
played.
Sorry. I think what we were thinking of was like having two sets, because when we started jamming, like another thing to add, when we jam, a lot of times we just like keep playing for like 1 hour, and we just like keep building on ideas that each other are playing, and we won't talk for like an hour, and we are just like playing, and this is not even like decided. Like, it's not like we come from home and decide, okay, this is what we're going to jam on. Somebody plays something and then the other person will just play something on top of it. So anyway, so the point is, like, we had this very heavy psychedelic sound that we were working on, but at the same time there were all these songs that were never played live. So we always had a thought of like having two sets, like one like a very mellow set playing all these songs, but then one have like a other holy fire or like that zone of songs. So I think that's how it
Yeah,
probably
that's how it
was like
started.
born.
Yeah, we were trying to get all the, get into all the markets. Get into like the metal scene, the indie market, everything. Next is DJ, that's the next scene. Yeah. No, but that was like, I mean, it's a real challenge, man. Like, I don't think, you know, I know it's my band, but, I don't think many bands can pull that off. Like, do like a heavy set and do like the complete exact opposite of that and actually do it convincingly. So I'm very happy that I've got these guys in the band. They're very flexible, and they know how to like just take those songs and do what needs to be done to those songs instead of like being heavy handed. A lot of metal guys, they'll just like, too heavy handed even with mellow songs. But these guys have that like to be subtle, and you don't have to like kick people in the face, that kind of thing. We can do it.
Okay, and then why? I mean, of course, now it makes sense that you'll wanted to do the acoustic set because probably like venue is easier. But even tell me about the entire thing, because I felt that there was attention to detail, right? When it came to everything, whether it was the way people were sitting, whether it was the decor that was there, whether it was the way you guys were sitting and all of that, right? How did, like, break that down for me, right? Like, how did you all go about that?
Yeah, that's kind of like once we decided that Harkat was a good place to do this, then we started planning like, okay, how do we do this? And it can't be just, four guys standing on stage. It needs to be a little bit more immersive. It needs to be, something extra. So we started thinking, okay, let's have some stage decor, make it nice looking. Since we're doing that, okay, let's get a camera crew, let's record this properly. And since we have a projector, okay, let's project some cool stuff to make it a complete experience. Like, and it wasn't like, it's funny when you said like it's easier to get gigs, but we haven't gotten any gigs since then. Yeah. So we kind of had that in mind, like, okay, maybe we can play more because we are now more flexible. We have this set and the other set. So in case there's a metal show, let's play the heavy set. In case we get a mellow show, we can do that. But reality is like you literally have to promote both those things so people know that these things exist. It's so that was kind of a challenge, like as the same band, calling yourself the same band but doing completely different music almost. So but we pulled it off, and I feel like people nowadays are not so surprised that, oh, we released Holy Fire last April, now we just released like
Come to me or something.
a semi acoustic album now. So
But I feel like, but I feel like when you hear the music, right, I feel like you can get the connection. Like, at least when I hear like the early stuff and then when I hear the newer stuff, I can like see, okay, there's some connection. Also, coming back to Harkat, I think the beauty of that place is like it's like an empty canvas, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can basically do whatever you want over there. So that was great because we could design the stage the way we wanted to, and also like a lot of things kept improvising as the day went ahead. Like, it wasn't supposed to look the way it looked. Yeah, like we had some rough ideas. We were going to put flowers on the stage, some plants, but then let's say like half an hour before the show, Angad, or I think it was Angad itself, where he just took the rose flower and he just like removed the petals and just threw all over the stage. And you're like, oh man, that looks cool. And then that became like a big part of the whole look or the visual identity of that show, I feel. Yeah, it was like improvised also in a way, but
it was.
yeah.
Let's get you involved, Shreyansh. Were you surprised or shocked to see the number of people that were there?
No.
I'll tell you why also one of the reasons it happened. Because I bought 2 tickets. I didn't realize. Yeah. So I literally and the only person who knows about this prior to this is our good friend Tavish, because the day before the show. So sorry, I'm stealing it, but I wanted to add some context. Is that so? My Paytm account is linked to one email ID. And the one I use otherwise for ticketing is another email ID. So the day before the show, I'm like furiously looking through my email and I'm like, I swore I could have bought a ticket to the show and it's the day before. And I just went and I bought another ticket. And then like after the show got over, I'm like, wait, why do I have a ticket for this show? So sorry guys, if someone didn't make it to the show and it was sold out, I'm the guy who had 2 tickets to it. But were you surprised with the response and the number of people that were there?
Yeah, it was good to see like so many people though, because it's a small room, but like if it's filled with a lot of people, it's nicer to play for them, and it sounds good also. But I think I didn't expect so many people honestly, because like I was thinking it's rainy, plus like it's like, yeah, who knows about this place and stuff, but like, yeah, it was good to see them. I don't know, they just showed up and it's nice.
Yeah, for us, that was like
Yeah.
And Amrit was like full max stress.
But okay, whoever wants to take this, right? And let's mix things up a little. What was, and again, when you go through your set list, right? It's not easy putting together, especially like for someone like Deepak who's like written all the songs or most of the songs. It's like, which one do I choose? But is there a democracy where you all voted? And if there was, which was like some of the songs you all said, no, we can't play this live at this point?
Well, I mean, Holy Fire obviously you couldn't play at this show. But I think we just like discussed most of
we
the
kind of
stuff.
tried
Yeah.
a lot of them, all of them, I think. Almost all of them.
Which is the most challenging then to kind of play live?
I mean, for me personally, I think Patient Man is ending, especially because so Rohel has played guitars on the original song, and obviously we didn't want to like play exactly that way, but still I feel like the ending we can work a bit more on that or something.
What about you?
The Ruhel thing.
Yeah, it's just
It's
like
a loop. It's not even.
oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So.
That's really cool.
Basically, when I released that song, that was 2017, I think. So I'd asked Ruhel, bro, just send me a guitar part in G or D or something. I just said, just play anything in D or G or something. And then he just sent me this like massive feedback, like kind of thing, for like 9-minute like recording or something. So I said, okay, cool, and I just like took one 5-second thing and I just looped that.
Oh man,
That's
I
what
didn't
that-
know that.
yeah,
I
that's
thought
what-
it was like
what was the most challenging song for you?
I think it still is. It's Strangers at Sea. Yeah, it's just the time feel of that, I guess. But it's fun. I like that song so much, but to play it, it's a bit challenging.
It's like the hyper slow doom tempos, like he's like a really good accomplished jazz. He can play like fusion, funk, all this kind of stuff. But doom drumming is a whole nother thing where you have to just play slow, and it's not everyone can do it. But he's been like really good at adapting his style with this kind of music. So kudos to him for doing it.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna take a while for like, because we got another like Utkarsh is joining us for the show, and his time feel is a bit different than ours, and it's gonna come together slowly. So it's like I'm pulling, someone's pushing, and I'm like, bro, yeah, it'll happen.
Finally, it's all that tension that ends up amping up for adding to it also, right? But okay, I think let's transition to a song from live at Harkat. Whoever wants to take it, because
Personally, I like The Wait the most from that live album. Yeah, so maybe we can play that.
okay.
Any other suggestions?
Otherwise, we'll have to play too many of these songs.
Okay, fair enough. So let's play The Wait.
Days on end, strung like beads. I roll out and I roll up. Smoke dripping off the ceiling. And I sit and I wait and wait. I breathe heavy, and I bet you sympathize with my misery. But I sit and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait.
Okay, that was The Wait from live at Harkat. And another thing I definitely wanted to talk to you guys was about, putting together the choices of recording not only just audio but also video, right? And prior to this, you all had a couple of videos up on YouTube for it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And this is when I'm thinking about it. Deepak, you can add from your experience also what you've seen. There's something about Indian bands not wanting to put out live releases, right? And again, the factor can be so many. Venue, recording. Again, I don't know, like with a live recording, and this is me personally, and you all can kind of weigh in from my experience. I don't want to hear a song which sounds exactly like it was on the record, right? One of my favorite live albums is an Aerosmith album, Sanity. I can't remember. I'm gonna go look it up after this recording. But later I found out that like they dubbed all the crowd sounds and things like that, right? But going back to that recording, there's a certain kind of energy, there's a certain kind of thing. They go all over the place, there's jamming and things like that. So, with all of that in context, what was your approach to, hey, we're now going to have this documented and.
Yeah, I mean, originally we were just like, okay, since we're doing this, this might be just a one-off show. Like, we've never really played this kind of music. This is the first show. And we have this opportunity to have like stage deco, get a crew and everything. Let's record audio also so we can document it properly. And then we sat with it with Varun, who also mixed the show. So we kind of like mixed it from there, and we did edit some parts which that were a little messed up, where I messed up or something. So going with the classic tradition of editing live recordings, which goes back long.
I mean, all the way back to Kiss, man.
I mean, everything, yeah. All my favorite live albums are like dubbed and re-recorded, But yeah, they do have a different energy still. So all those albums like Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous, and Priest, Unleashed in the East, all that, it's all been overdubbed. The Priest album, Rob Halford did the vocals in Ringo Starr's studio after the show. So I mean, we were like not opposed to that. We said, okay, let's keep as much as possible live, and if there are things that are so bad that we have to edit it, we will do that. That kind of thing.
Okay, fair enough. And what's the purpose? I mean, like, I'm sure you'll never thought, like, again, because it's been a few months in terms of releasing. So are we going to see more videos or something from as part of this?
We are planning to put out more of the videos from that show. Yeah. I mean, in the coming weeks. So we're going to release the album on May 9th. So as soon as that's out, all this stuff is going to come out.
Awesome. And you'll also have merch.
Yeah, we do have merch. We have a new t-shirt out. And pre-orders are open now, and we'll start shipping it by May 9th, basically.
Okay. And again, now I want to hear from the others also about the entire aspect, right? Because I feel that there is a kind of, I wouldn't say formula of sorts, but like whether it's music you're putting out, you've got merch that goes along with it, Bandcamp, there's shows, all of that. How do you kind of envision or put together all of that, right? I mean, is it again a collective effort? Is it like someone, or is it like divide and conquer also?
I feel like even Angad plays a big role in that, because he helps us a lot in just managing everything, like talking to people or like getting little things sorted out, and just there's a lot of stuff in a band that needs to be taken care of, like for example talking to the merch people, or like getting the samples from different merch companies, or like just trying to get shows also and stuff like that. So but yeah, I think it's a collective effort. Everybody is doing different things.
We just like basically we just talk and brainstorm, hey, what can we do? Like, okay, let's do the album, let's do the live video, let's do some videos to promote that. So now it's like you can't just record something and put it up and expect people to listen to it. You have to follow it up with, content, basically, interesting content to hopefully keep people engaged and make them want to check it out. So it's a collective thing. Like somebody will have an idea, hey, let's do this. Somebody else might say, hey, let's do that. So, just take everything into account. I mean, that's the only way we can manage at this point, because like I used to do a lot of the stuff myself before these guys joined the band. So it's a huge relief for me to have these guys, have Angad, then, because I can fall back on them like if I can't do something, or so that's really cool, like having these guys in the band.
Now I must add, right, before I go on and we dive, is I feel this is like the reality of being a band in 2025, right? You can't like just say, okay, I play music. It's, you got to look at stuff. And I think there's also like while playing the shows, recording the music to a certain extent is the sexy stuff, but there's also the unsexy stuff of like packing merch. And at this point, I want to definitely say, at I don't know how many different addresses of yours I have at some point, Deepak, considering all the different bands, all the way from Shepherd to the Earth Below, and you shipping out all of that stuff. I mean, I think, by the way, I don't know if this is a recurring thing with you, but I even have like 2 copies of, I think, some Shepherd release also for some reason.
Maybe that's why we sold out. That's why I'm selling them 2 copies.
But
No, but I feel like just by being in India also, like, we are by default in a big disadvantage. I feel like, just what I mean is, talking in terms of like opportunities, or like just the amount of gigs we can play, or the amount of audience we can reach out to at times. Because I feel like you reach like a saturation point also in India with the kind of music we are playing, and at the same time we don't want to like play something that we don't believe in. Like, we want to write music that we believe in, we enjoy. At the end of the day, we are doing this because we love this music. There's no other reason for doing this. So just like, then we have to try like do more things to just like try and push our music towards newer people, and like try and get like more people into this kind of music and expose people to like this kind of music also. So I don't know, it's like something I think about at times, you know.
no, okay, so let's go around the table, right? And like, if I could get like quick responses to this. If you had to say, and this is again could be your personal motivation, or so to say, at this point, what drives you to be in a band in 2025?
Ooh. I don't know. I always wanted to be in a band. I think I always wanted to play the drums and be in a band since I was in high school, maybe. That's how it started, and that's all I want to do, and that's what drives me, I guess. And it just, yeah, being in a room and playing music with people, that's it. That's it for me. And being able to put that on stage is more nicer with, like, shared with people, because it just like, it just feels more nicer, I guess.
Ashish? I mean, you have multiple bands. So
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to it. Like, the most important thing, just writing music. Like, that's the most fun part, I feel, because also you're thinking in a certain way, and then you hear like other people bringing in their ideas, and then you're like just mind blown, you know. Like, and these are such talented people I'm lucky to like play with. So I just feel like it's great to like being exposed to so many different ways of thinking and like ideas, and just writing songs with them. And apart from that, also like playing live, just being on stage and playing this music to people, and like touring around and getting to meet new people. I think that's the most fun part. And when you get to go to new places and play to people that you never thought you would play to, so that's really amazing. Like, last year we really went to like a lot of new places, like Northeast, Nepal. So I think that for me was like just mind blowing, because I started playing in a band 10 years ago, and that time I never imagined that I would even like play outside Pune.
wow.
So now for me to do all of this, it's just like a dream come true. So I'm grateful, man. Like, obviously every day there are struggles, like there are points when you feel like, fuck this, I don't want to do this. Like, but those are very rare. But it happens. It feels quite strong at times. But I'm grateful, man. Like, I want to do this like a lot more, and I'm just lucky to like have people like these to be playing with.
Oh, thanks for sharing that, man. I mean, I appreciate it, and I'm sure like a lot of musicians or even creative people can kind of relate to that. Deepak, I'm curious to know your answer.
No, yeah, I've playing live is, I know I'm supposed to really want to do it, but for me, like, I just love the creative aspect of it more than anything else. Like being in the room with a few other musicians and like trying to come up with I mean, it's not always good because you may not see eye to eye with certain musicians and stuff like that. But with these guys, like, I'm happy, man. If these guys say let's jam tomorrow, I'm down because I never feel like this is going to be a bore, this is going to be a drag, jamming. So I feel like super blessed and lucky that I found these guys and I'm able to do that and we are able to create stuff together. So that's, for me, that creative side of it is much more like rewarding for me rather than the shows. I mean, I do like the live show aspect of it, but maybe yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes I can't see past all the the hurdles and all the crazy shit you have to do just to play half an hour somewhere, to 100 people, not even that. A lot of times, yeah, 20 people. Because I mean, I have done that for a long time. Like I've been playing live as a drummer since, man, I mean, I can't, I don't even remember.
Deepak's feeling shy, but
I feel like
No, I'm trying to think.
sorry,
Like,
but I feel we come back to that same point of like the saturation point in India sometimes. Like you've played so long, you've played in the same city, the same venue, the same 100 people every time, and then maybe you feel like, oh, I mean, it's the same thing. I don't know.
yeah, I mean,
Maybe that.
it's not that, and I don't take it for granted that people want to come to our shows and they want to buy our merch and listen to our music. I mean, that's amazing. Just the fact that people are willing to do that and stuff. But
Yeah.
I've never thought that like the be all and end all is just make music to play live. I always thought like the first part of the making music part, that's like the big thing for me. Like that's what gets me off more than anything.
Okay, so kind of transitioning on to that is to the live aspect. One of the things is, by the time this episode will be out, so by the time the live album's out, is you're scheduled to play in Bombay as part of the Disco Degenerate series. With relations to what you all said, quick thing on what you all are looking forward to at the show. Because I believe at least some of you have been to the show before.
Yeah,
So it's a fun series that they do, right?
Yeah. I think, I have been to one. It's like long distances played, I feel like. And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to it because the last time we played this set, that was the first time we played the set. So there was a lot of like, things were not sure.
Second time you're playing it.
This is the second time now.
This set. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward, especially with like Utkarsh in the band, and the sound has changed a little bit, and it sounds amazing actually. So that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to, and we're kind of trying to see to make it a little bit more immersive experience like the Harkat show, but on a bigger stage. I don't know how we're going to do it, but it'll be another patchwork, last minute improvisation kind of type thing.
Hey, Angad, just warning you.
We'll definitely need Angad for this. Yeah.
Also, like to add to that, I feel like we haven't played with other singer-songwriters also so far. So at least for me, like this is the first non-metal gig that I'm ever playing in my life. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. So it's like it's a interesting lineup overall. I quite like Shashwat's music, and even Rono is pretty good. So it will be fun.
What about you, Shreyansh?
Yeah, I just want people to listen to this music, man. Like, I don't know. So I'm just excited that we're gonna get new listeners. So, yeah, more people should come and just listen to some new music rather than crap, whatever.
Okay, and I know we've touched upon this a bit, but are there plans for more shows? Anything that at least you all can hint to? If not,
No, we really don't have any show.
okay. So okay, fine. So then everyone who's listened to the episode so far,
Yeah, it might actually be the only show of the year. So you better come to the show.
okay, more motivation.
Because last year we played what? We played just
4 shows, right? The
yeah.
Northeast.
I mean we did that Northeast tour. Yeah, but we really only played one show with this set at least, you know. And since then we were like, we've been trying to book shows, we've been hitting people up, emailing people, but nothing's happened until now. So it's one of those things where bands, like, I guess you just have to take every opportunity you get and make the best of it. Like, we thought, okay, let's release the album just before the show, let's make this a whole scene, you know, like album launch, whatever, t-shirt. So yeah, you never know when the next next show is gonna be.
Okay, and
There's a lot of music in the pipeline, so
Oh,
so hopefully we'll release that in this year, like some of that at least. So
wow, you said what, 12 demos?
yeah, kind of. I mean, there's a lot of demos basically. Yeah.
I mean, if anyone who's followed Deepak on Instagram knows that there's like a lot of stuff that he used to keep putting out back in the day. I don't know. Do you have that archived or saved somewhere?
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I have to like go through it and kind of sort it out. I'm like the Kirk Hammett of hopefully I don't lose all the stuff.
Okay, fair. Cool. One of the things I definitely want to do before I let you guys go, and let's try seeing how many of these songs we can play. But if we don't play these songs, I'll at least put it in a playlist. This is part of the episode which I'm making a series which is called What You're Listening to Currently. Now, at least I know from Ashish and Deepak that they have varied tastes. But I think let's start off with Shreyansh because I'm very curious and I don't know him that well. So, so I don't know. Do you need a second before each one kind of says what you're currently listening to?
Yeah. You're asking what I'm listening to lately, right?
Yeah. And what you'd like everyone who's listening to this episode to check out also.
Okay. Cool, everyone. Yep. And lately it's always all over the place, but there's this song called Fred by Tony Williams. At least he's playing the drums on it, and I think it's by him also. So I'm planning to cover that and learn that, and I love it, whatever's happening. So yeah, please check that out if you wanna. And I've been listening to Fontaine's DC a lot. It's like a new, like a modern indie band, indie rock, pop, whatever. I like this song called Televised Mind by them. And there's a song called Little Trouble Girl by Sonic Youth. I heard that. I was reading this book of Dave Grohl, and he was talking about this band called Killing Joke. And I have been digging it so much lately, the sound and yeah, just the like production sound and everything. It's so nice. I think the song was called Love Like Blood, which is almost like, I think it's that one which sounds like Come As You Are, but yeah. And there's this band called Vacations, which is again like a indie band, sort of new, and it's like it has got that beach kind of a feeling. But yeah, I really like that band called Vacations, and the song is I think it's called Young. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Should we go in order of like heaviness now? Because I want to know whose song choices are heavier, yours or yours, Deepak or Ash?
I'm not sure if any of us are listening to any heavy music right
Okay.
Yeah, throughout the day it's like different.
Well, I just recently put up an Elton John cover on my Instagram, so I was listening to a lot of Elton John. Before that, a lot of Stevie Wonder. Okay, we're picking one song, right?
Whichever you want. I'll try seeing if I can play one of those.
Can you get rights to Stevie Wonder songs? Yeah.
I'm anyway putting it in a playlist, so that's cool.
Yeah, let's do that, man. So Stevie Wonder, I love Stevie Wonder, man. So there's this album called In Square Circle. It's from the 80s, and it's got a song called Spiritual Walkers. That's one of my favorites recently. What else? There was a fun Sting album where he did a bunch of like medieval songs, which I was listening to at Ashish's place. And yeah, I've been really getting into that. That was cool. So it's Sting and another guy playing lute. I think Sting's also playing lute, so both of them are kind of doing like a duet thing, and Sting is singing a lot of these old, I guess they're folk songs or maybe classical type songs, you know. So yeah, I would pick
Okay. Rounding it up, come on, Ashish.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of like different stuff. There's this one artist called A.A. Williams.
Yeah.
She's a singer-songwriter from UK, and I had seen her live at Roadburn in 2019. Yeah, she's amazing. So there's this song called Cold, which I really like by her. Then I was listening to Steve Wantel from Neurosis, his solo stuff. Yeah, his solo stuff is really nice. It's very calming. Then some ambient music. There's this artist called Biosphere, which is like very minimal kind of music. That some Western classical music, some Qawwali, and then the Chat Pile's new album. It's fucking insane, man. So yeah, it's all over the place. Sometimes it's like dance, dark wave kind of stuff. Some shoegaze.
Nice. Glad there's a lot of variety across the board. But cool. Just to kind of wrap things up, right? I know it's hard, right? And you guys have talked about the uncertainty of shows, recording, and stuff like that. Let's kind of literally crystal ball this if we can. If we have this chat in a couple of years, what do you think?
Couple of
Years. What do you think we'll be talking about?
I feel like it's going to be another new release by the Earth Below. And we would have made 50 or 100 new fans or followers. And that's fine because it's at least going up, you know.
Yeah.
It's not going down. So I have pretty like, I'm very pragmatic. I don't have like crazy fantasies about like music life of being, you know, some rock star and all this kind of stuff, you know. I've seen a lot of those kind of people and they are not okay in the head, you know, especially when things don't go their way and stuff, you know, like. But I mean, I have very realistic expectations with music, you know. I don't expect that much in return. I just really just want to make music, you know. So anything more than that is a bonus.
Yeah, pretty much same, man. Like I just hope we keep writing music, and I think we'll just keep exploring, man. Like I think as we go ahead, I think for me at least, like over the years, my listening and just like the things I explore on instrument has kept evolving, and I just want to keep doing that. I want to learn more things on the instrument and just music in general. And I just hope we keep writing more music, man. I mean, as he said, like things are just like so. You don't know, like in India, I mean, you can't have like insane dreams or like. Also, like whatever happens is like a bonus. I just want to keep making music. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of the same, I think. And maybe we'll be talking about an album coming out, something like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Taking time out, speaking to me. And yeah, hopefully we speak next year, not 2 years from now. Just saying. And that was The Earth Below. A lot of fun to do in-person recordings after a while. Definitely going to do more of them when I get a chance with Indian bands, especially if they're touring in Bombay. Before I sign off, as always, do hit follow or subscribe on whichever podcast platform you're listening to this episode on. It's also available on YouTube, so hit subscribe on that. It always helps. If you want to get in touch with me, follow me on social media. Just search for Trendcrusher, or get in touch with me old school, so to say, trendcrusher@gmail.com. That's all I've got for this episode. I'll see you all very soon. Cheers.